Hi, my name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to show you how to factor a difference of squares binomial. So grab a pencil and some paper and work through these problems with me. First, let's look at the binomial x squared minus 9. This is considered a difference of squares, and let me explain why. The first part, difference, is because of this subtraction sign. Next, difference of squares represents perfect squares. So, is the first term and the last term a perfect square? Now, numbers that are perfect squares, when you take the square root of them, it produces a whole number. So let's check these. If we take the square root of x squared, that equals x. It's a perfect square. If we take the square root of 9, well, that's 3 times 3. So the square root of 9 is 3. So we could say that x squared and 9 are both perfect squares. So let me show you how we're going to factor this. Now that we've determined that this is a difference of squares, we're going to go ahead and factor it in this order. We're going to use the template for our answer, a plus b times a minus b. We're going to call the letter a the square root of our first term, and the letter b is going to be the square root of our second term. So for this problem, the letter a equals x, the letter b equals 3. So any problem that's a difference of square is going to have an answer in this format, a plus b times a minus b, where a is the square root of the first term, b is the square root of the second term. So the answer to this problem is x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, let's try another one. Let's factor the binomial 36x squared minus 121. The first thing we need to do is to make sure this is a difference of squares. It definitely is a difference because of the subtraction sign, but let's check to see if our first term and our last term is a perfect square. If we check the square root of 36x squared, this would be 6x, because 6 times 6 is 36, x times x is x squared. The square root of 121 is 11. So both of these are perfect squares. So this problem is a difference of squares. Now our answer is going to fall into the format a plus b times a minus b. And remember from our last example, the a is going to represent the answer to our first term, the square root of our first term. B is going to be the square root of our second term. So in this problem, a will be 6x and b will be 11. So here's what our final answer will look like. 6x plus 11 times 6x minus 11. And that's your final answer. Okay, let's try one more example. we have x plus 2 quantity squared minus 9. The first thing we need to do is make sure this is a difference of squares. Well, it definitely is a difference because of the subtraction sign, but is the first term and the last term perfect squares? Let's look at the first term. The first term is x plus 2 quantity squared. Now, according to that quantity squared, that means x plus 2 times x plus 2. Now, if I take the square root of x plus 2 quantity squared, it would actually be x plus 2, which is a perfect square. The square root of 9 is 3. So both of these are perfect squares. So this is a difference of squares. Remember, our answer will fall into the format a plus b times a minus b. A will be the square root of our first term. B will be the square root of our second term. So let's figure out what our final answer will be. A is x plus 2 plus b, which is 3. Over here, A is x plus 2 minus b, which is 3. Now, we're not quite at our final answer. We need to collect like terms. Right in here, we're going to keep our x, but instead of having plus 2 plus 3, we're going to make that a plus 5. Over here, we have x plus 2 minus 3. We're going to simplify that side to x minus 1. And this is the final answer, x plus 5 times x minus 1. Now, if you have any more questions about this topic, please contact your professor or stop by the Math Tutoring Lab or watch this video again.